It's a lonely feeling. It was a lonely feeling. And I thought about blowing my head off a few times. Only thing that stopped me was I had children.
In the 1990s, DMX became popular worldwide. Due to the fact that negative emotions like rage and hostility plague DMX's entire existence, the majority of his songs are dripping with these emotions. So let's start from the beginning with the heartbreaking story of DMX.
Slugs to up a thugs that don't know how the fuck I'm living. I'm wondering what the fuck you eyeing me for when you know that before I blew shit up like C4.
Earl Simmons was born December 18, 1970, and is better known by his stage name DMX, also known as Darkman X and Dogman X, a multi-platinum American rapper as well as an actor.
Okay, so can't afford to get pulled over. Got a big night tonight.
DMX's stage name was originally an acronym for Divine Master of the Unknown, but it also pays tribute to an instrument he used to play in the 1980s, the Oberheim DMX drum machine. Joe Barker and Arnett Simmons, who got pregnant at the age of 19, gave birth to DMX. His birthplace has been the subject of conflicting accounts. Some claim he was born in Baltimore, Maryland, while others claim he was born in Mount Vernon, New York. He was his mother's second kid, and she already had a daughter, age 2, from a previous relationship.
We wasn't super close, but we had time enough to be able to talk to each other.
When DMX was a young boy, his mother relocated the family to the notorious Yonkers School Street projects, where he learned of robbery. He was involved in juvenile incarceration and youth group homes for a significant portion of his adolescence after committing crimes including robbery as a child. When he was 14 years old, Reedy Ron duped him into smoking a marijuana cigarette that had been laced with crack cocaine, according to DMX, who then developed a crack cocaine addiction.
I smoke weed, I drink, coke, crack.
Drug dealers on the street were always despised by DMX, who found it simpler to steal their profits at the end of the day. Even though he was close to his uncles and a few close pals, he realized that his actual mates were the many stray dogs that he adopted.
Anybody you love, if you're around long enough, he'll love them. So I love dogs, man.
DMX considered hip-hop during this time as a way to escape his problems, but he also took pleasure in beatboxing, turntablism, and finally, rapping.
Running in place, gun in my waist. Niggas wanted to taste but wouldn't come in my face. So what that mean? Cats is playing games again. So now what I do? Start naming names again.
That's not all. It was a rough ride for the Rough Rider. My mother beat 2 teeth out of my mouth with a broom, DMX told sources in 2019 of the abuse he reportedly endured at the hands of his mother when DMX was only 6 years old.
Not once she ever told me that she loved me.
And in his early teens, his then mentor allegedly tricked him into smoking marijuana laced with crack cocaine. Long before his booming baritone and wizardly wordplay on tracks like Rough Rider's Anthem and Party Up Lose My Mind earned him multi-platinum selling artist status, he was just a troubled kid from Yonkers named Earl Simmons.
Bring down rings so heavy it hurts the head. No more talk, put in dirt instead. You keep walking, that you're trying to end up red.
The future Grammy-nominated maestro felt unloved from the get-go. My father never called me on my birthday or helped raise me at all, Simmons recounted in his 2002 autobiography, Earl. In his memoir, the rapper said Barker, an artist, only came around when he had to sell paintings in New York City.
I love my father. Even though he wasn't there, I don't really know him, but I know enough to know that I'm glad he didn't raise me.
DMX believed his mom, who was only 19 years old when she became pregnant with him, didn't know how to love him. Children don't come with an instruction manual, he told sources. 4 sisters, I'm the only boy, maybe she didn't know what to do with me.
A lot of people don't get that, so, I mean, what's the big deal? So what, she didn't say she loved me, so what? I'm here, I'm healthy.
Their relationship was fraught with physical and emotional torment, and was strained even further when a judge ruled that his mother was incapable of caring for him. By 10, DMX had been expelled for fighting and throwing chairs at teachers and was arrested twice for arson and assault. All the hard time behind bars was becoming a reoccurring trend in his life. DMX was ultimately ordered into rehabilitative custody of the Julia Dykeman Andrus Memorial Children's Home in Yonkers. But reportedly he was kicked out of the facility for allegedly starting a fire with his roommate. Once DMX returned to his mother's home, he often ran away to escape her abuse and the rotating door of unsympathetic boyfriends. He was sleeping in Salvation Army clothing bins and befriended many stray dogs. Despite their problematic past, DMX and his mother have since made amends. But shedding light on the dark traumas in public helped the gruff, growling megastar cope with the anguish of his childhood. Get At Me Dog, DMX's first major label single, was released on Def Jam Recordings in February of 1998.
You done did your dirt. Niggas just wondering how the fuck you hit your skirt right under their eyes. That's a surprise to the guy.
The RIAA awarded the single gold certification. It's Dark and Hell is Hot, his debut major label album, which featured the single Rough Riders Anthem, was released in May 1998.
Shut 'em down, open up shop. Oh, no, that's how Rough Riders roll.
With over 5 million copies sold, the album debuted at the top of the US Billboard 200 list. Next up was Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, DMX's second album. On the Billboard 200, it debuted at the top and held that position for 3 weeks.
Was it my fault? Something I did to make a father leave his first kid at 7 doing my first bit.
670,000 copies of the record were distributed within a week of its release. In the end, it received 4 platinum certifications, and DMX became the second rapper in history after Tupac Shakur to release 2 albums in the same year that both debuted at the Billboard 200.
I got to play, I'ma play till I win. Just like I got to be here, can't wait to begin.
Then came the time where DMX wrote his third album named And Then There Was X, his third best-selling album by DMX as of January 2012, which released on December 21st, 1999. It was his third album to enter the Billboard 200 at the top. His first top 10 smash on the R&B charts, Party Up, the album's most well-liked tune.
That's why you laying on your back, looking at the roof of the church. Preacher telling the truth and it hurts.
The singles What These Bitches Want and What's My Name were also well-liked. The album received 6 platinum certifications.
They know that around me talking about what you got will get you hit. I'm not a knife.
The 4th studio album in his discography, labeled The Great Depression, was released on October 23rd of 2001. The Great Depression arrived at a critical point in DMX's life and career. Despite reaching the pinnacle of success with his previous albums, he was facing personal battles and legal issues that significantly impacted his life and creativity. The album's title itself hinted at the emotional and mental turmoil he was experiencing during this time. The project's tracklist showcased DMX's signature aggressive and intense style, while also revealing a more vulnerable and reflected side.
The silence, the talk, the mind, so fragile. The wish at the streets would have took you when they had you.
The opening track Sometimes set the tone for an album as DMX acknowledged his inner struggles and sought solace in faith.
Sometimes I look at what I've become and cry. Sometimes I get on that bullshit and be ready to die.
The release of his 5th album, Grand Champ, debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 charts once more, making DMX the first musician in history to have 5 straight albums in his entire discography at the time. There were 2 singles, Where the Hood At and Get It Off the Floor, and after it was released, DMX made it known to the world that Grand Champ would be his last album and he would be retiring.
Where the hood at? Had a nigga in the cut, where the wood at? All the niggas acting up, where the wolves at?
Kanye West and Dr. Dre were 2 of the album's collaborators, according to longtime collaborator Swizz Beatz. His 2003 song X Gon' Give It To You was used in the trailers and the 2016 picture Deadpool.
X gon' deliver to you, knock knock, open up the door, it's real. With the non-stop pop out from stainless steel.
Bane Is Back, a new song by DMX that Swizz Beatz produced, was released on January 11th of 2017.
If it ain't about the dog, we ain't feeling ya. A lot of rappers been soft for a long time. Have to put the hoodie on, dog, all time.
On September 20th of 2019, DMX rejoined forces with Def Champ Recordings for the first time since the release of his 2003 album Grand Champ. From Tupac to Cardi B, few rap artists arrived at the mainstream already feeling fully formed, but it was pretty clear that Earl DMX Simmons was among them. When X barked, "DMX is a problem" in his debut album's explosive intro, the whole world felt it.
Kill, nigga, kill. Yet and still, you don't know I'm a robber.
As the recording quickly transitions from a street anthem, Get At Me Dog, to love songs How It's Going Down, and the dark conceptual confessionals Damien, X showed he could tackle any subject with verve while making you feel his emotions right in the pit of your stomach.
That's what I've been wanting all my life. thinking about my little man, so I called my wife. Yo, your dad-dad's about to make it happen.
Now that we've covered DMX's musical career, let's jump into his troubled side of getting into illegal activities. For a variety of crimes, including robbery, assault, carjacking, animal cruelty, careless driving, driving without a license, drug possession, probation violations, failure to pay child support, impersonating a federal agent, and tax evasion, DMX would be incarcerated over 30 times. And that's not all. DMX was accused with 14 federal charges of tax fraud in July of 2017. Federal prosecutors accused him of failing to file income tax returns for the years 2010 to 2015, during which he earned at least $2.3 million. In November of 2017, DMX entered a guilty plea to a single count of tax fraud.
They said he has concealed his income for several years, and it's about $1.7 million that he owes to the IRS.
After the unfortunate incident, DMX was initially released from custody pending punishment, but was recalled to custody in January of 2018 after abandoning a court-mandated drug treatment program and relapsing on cocaine and oxycodone. So what happened next? DMX was given a 1-year prison term in March of 2018, along with 3 years of supervised release by Judge Jed S. Rakoff. The court also mandated that DMX had to pay the government $2.29 million in restitution.
He's been incarcerated since January when his bail was revoked for failing a drug test. He's also been ordered to pay back more than $2 million in taxes.
On January 25th, 2019, he was let go from custody. At the same time, DMX was going through issues with his mental health.
I knew I had to stop this because I felt like I was just gonna lose my mind and like do something I'd really regret because of the paranoia.
He disclosed his bipolar disorder soon after he postponed gigs in 2002, 2017, and 2019. DMX sought drug rehab on many occasions. DMX apparently lost the ability to function in several vital organs, including his liver, kidneys, and lungs. And on the morning of the 9th of April 2021, he was declared dead at the age of 50. The Westchester County Medical Examiner's Office disclosed on July 8th that Simmons' official cause of death was a heart attack brought on by cocaine.
DMX died from a cocaine-induced heart attack, which caused a lack of blood circulation to the brain. It was cardiac arrest for a period of time.
DMX no doubt had a tragic life with a traumatizing childhood, along with his struggles when making his way to the music industry and being in jail half of his life. Yet he is an inspiration to millions to never give up in times of difficulty.
What somebody thinks does nothing for me. Either way, I'll stick to what I believe about myself. My heart is in the right place.
What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed today's video and found it interesting, be sure to leave a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe to the channel.